Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be diving into my Monday Night Football breakdown. We have the Seattle Seahawks going to San Fran, playing one of the better teams in the NFL right now. It's actually a pretty important game. This is a big divisional game, so the Niners and the Seahawks both look great this year. Definitely both true Super Bowl contenders. I'm a true believer in the 49ers at this point. I think it's going to be a lot different for them without George Kittle, who is doubtful. He's probably not going to play, so we will be approaching this video as if George Kittle is already ruled out. If you have not already, though, please do leave a like on this video. I greatly appreciate your support as always, and if you do have any questions, comments, or concerns for me, whether it's Draftkings, FanDuel, Yahoo, any DFS site, or season-long fantasy question, please leave them in the comment section below. I'm happy to give y'all advice when I can. Now, I do have a couple players already pulled up on FanDuel, so we are going to start over here on Draftkings. What I want to do also, I was doing it for a little while, and I kind of fell off the train of doing it. I want to be very clear and concise, and I'm just going to kind of give you guys a few of my locks for the night, instead of kind of talking about, 3 or 4 different ways to just approach the game. One of my favorite plays tonight, and he draws one of the best matchups for this Seattle team, is going to be Tyler Lockett. He's been very consistent. We all saw him absolutely light up Tampa Bay. I don't expect him to get 18 targets. So let's just come out and say that now. If he gets anywhere from 7 to 10, I think it's going to be a great night for him. He does not have an easy matchup. K'Wan Williams is likely who he's going to see the most. Tyler Lockett coming out of the slot a majority of the time. K'Wan Williams almost always playing in the slot on defense. Now, K'Wan Williams is actually having a decent start to the year, but at the same time, when you look at the matchups on the outside with DK Metcalf and Josh Gordon, who's very interesting as well, just because of his talent, they both have really tough matchups. They have Richard Sherman and I forget the other guy's name, but regardless, they're very, very tough matchups coming in for them on the outside. Tyler Lockett should be the kind of first look in that progressive eye movement for Russell Wilson. As soon as he takes that snap, he's probably going to see if Tyler Lockett's got his man beat. I really do like Tyler Lockett quite a bit tonight. Because I don't expect this game to be a ground and pound type of game, and this San Fran front is no joke. I think I said it in the Arizona-San Fran primetime game, but I'm really, really happy about San Francisco this year. I love to watch them play. I think they're exciting, but that D-line, I don't see Chris Carson having a ton of success, and I think it's going to be a lot of 2-second throws for Russell Wilson. Unless he's able to scramble and do something on his feet. I think he's snapping the ball, and Tyler Lockett's going to come out of the slot either off to the flats, or he's just going to run like a quick slant over the middle. But either way, I think he's going to get hit pretty quick, and it's going to be big yards after the catch for Tyler Lockett tonight. So I do like Tyler Lockett quite a bit. And if he's not going to be your captain, the other guy I like that has another great matchup is Emmanuel Sanders. In terms of the DB he's playing against, let's see, what was his name? Jamar Taylor. I almost forgot Jamar Taylor's name. I've been targeting Jamar Taylor quite a bit this season. He has not been performing that well. He's not having a horrible year, but at the same time, it's one of those things where somebody's going to get exposed more than the other DBs on the team. Try not to be the DB that gets targeted the most, and Jamar Taylor gets targeted the most. That's who Emmanuel Sanders should see a majority of. And more importantly, with George Kittle out, he had 5 targets in his first week as a Niner. He had 9 targets in his second week as a Niner. Now you're taking out George Kittle, who is probably Jimmy G's favorite target. It's arguable, but regardless, he has a monster target share. When you take him out of this equation, I think Emmanuel Sanders is going to feast and really, really pick up those targets that George Kittle is not going to be there to receive. So I think Emmanuel Sanders is definitely going to house another touchdown, 3 touchdowns in his first 3 games with the 49ers. I think he gets at least 1 tonight, and then hopefully a 100-plus bonus as well, and then 7 or 8 catches would be awesome. So I do like Emmanuel Sanders quite a bit. Now this is where it gets tricky. Well, let me hop out of the captain. So this is where it gets tricky, though, because you're going to have to pick between Russell Wilson and Jimmy G. If you go with Lockett in captain and then you play Sanders below, I don't think you have to play Russell Wilson here. I prefer Russell Wilson for the $400. I don't think I'm going to be playing much Jimmy G tonight, to be honest. I think that the run game might not be too bad for San Fran. I think that Sanders is probably going to get a touchdown, which is obviously a touchdown for Jimmy G. But I really think that it's going to be a bulk of the scoring is going to be field goals and maybe a running touchdown or 2 tonight for San Fran. So if we play Tyler Lockett at captain, Emmanuel Sanders below, let's go ahead and lock in Russell Wilson. And I think Russell Wilson would be a borderline stupid fade. I mean, in GPPs, there's always argument to fade. If he has one of these 16, 14, 15-point games, then by all means, you're probably going to be ahead. If you sit Russell Wilson and start Jimmy G for $400 less, and Jimmy Garoppolo just happens to have a 25-point game, and Russell Wilson has 15.3, you're going to be so far ahead of the field. It's just one of those things where you're getting that leverage on the competition, but it's very risky leverage. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that. So I prefer Russell Wilson for sure. And then if we play Tyler Lockett and captain, then I think it makes the most sense to play Wilson below. If you switch these two and play Sanders at captain, I still think you can get away with playing Russell Wilson below. I don't think you have to play the correlating quarterback to the captain wide receiver that you choose, just to be clear on that. And then these San Francisco running backs, Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, $2,000 gap. And we have seen Matt Breida over the last 3 weeks kind of work his way back up to a more normal Matt Breida workload. And Tevin Coleman, in my opinion, still the true workhorse back for this team due to the consistency. The last 2 weeks he has not had that workhorse 16, 18, 20 sort of carries. But regardless, in that Carolina game, we all know he went absolutely haywire. He didn't really need to have many more carries than that. And then Arizona was an interesting one. He didn't do much of anything at all, and he was on my book and a lot of people's minds to kind of be a captain lock. So kind of interesting, but with Matt Breida though at 2,000 less, I almost prefer Matt Breida. And it has nothing to do with the attempts, the volume, or the targets or anything like that. He's going to get a target or two at least this game. I think they might involve him a little bit more in the passing game than they have in the past with George Kittle out. A lot of people aren't talking about it like it's going to be Breida's night or anything like that, but I could see Breida kind of getting 3 to 5 targets tonight, which is really, really good at 6,200 because if he can flip that up the field for 40 yards, that alone right there off 4 catches is at 8 points, plus anything he does on the ground. So I think that Breida's actually a pretty strong play at 6,200. And then Deebo Samuel, these San Fran wide receivers don't necessarily have the toughest matchup tonight. It's not a great one for them, but it's definitely not the toughest. Robbie Gould at 3,600, the backup kicker, is probably going to get the start here. Robbie Gould probably not going to play. McLaughlin, however you want to pronounce it. I'm not really looking to play the San Fran kicker tonight. I think that Jason Myers, just because I think that I think Seattle's going to score more points tonight, and playing the kicker on the team that scores the most points is just the safest way to go about it. I'm okay with playing either kicker. I'm okay with playing both kickers. I personally just lean Jason Myers, and that's really all I have to say about it. If we go ahead and plug him in there, we are able to find some punt value down here. We were not able to yesterday. We were not able to, I think, on the last 2 or 3 showdowns. But in this 1K to 200 range, everybody knows Luke Wilson is my boy. He is that 3.6 to 4-point guy that I can play on these showdown slates for min price. And if he gets me 4 points, I'm ecstatic. So I do like to mention Luke Wilson whenever I can on these showdown slates. Kyle Juszczyk coming back this game. He's been out for a few, but he's always going to get those goal. He gets those tricky goal line works where they line up in the eye and then they just do the quick handoff to the fullback when everybody's kind of waiting for the fullback to block. So if he was to like sneak in a touchdown, that would be massive. Regardless, he's probably still going to rack up anywhere from 2 to 5 fantasy points tonight at min price, or at 600, excuse me. But I like to mention these guys down here because if you are going to punt, this is a good night to do it because it will allow you to get up to somebody else that's worth paying up for. Kendrick Bourne, also 1K. Kendrick Bourne has not gone a single game this year without scoring fantasy points. That's very, very notable. Especially, I know he's only getting 1 or 2 targets, and if they don't get converted to a catch, that's 0 points. I'm well aware of that. It's just really tough to ignore when you see somebody that has put up points every single game this season at 1K. You don't need 1 point from him there. You need at least 4 points, I think, from Kendrick Bourne if you're going to play him for 1K. If we go ahead and plug in somebody like Kyle Juszczyk, who I think is a relatively safe play, that's going to allow us to come back up here and get Tevin Coleman. I like that quite a bit. It's going to allow us to get DK Metcalf if we want to play DK. which I also like. And this is a night where you will leave salary on the table if you're not playing cash or in any tournament lines, just to be clear. You will be leaving salary on the table. Definitely don't try to cap it all the way out because you're going to go splitting with a lot of other people, even if you do well. I'm okay with leaving up to $1,800 on salary on the table in this. I was playing around with it this morning, had a couple builds that were leaving a lot of money on the table. But let's jump over here real quick to FanDuel. I plugged these guys in because it's impossible to play all four of them. If you look up here a little bit, we have 4,000 average remaining. We cannot play all four of these guys. You have to pick one to take out of your lineup. I put Russell Wilson up top because I love Russell Wilson over here on FanDuel. I think he's the safest play, and I think he's the best MVP play. The fantasy points per game average just isn't even close with these other guys. So for me, I'm going to want to take out Jimmy G here, even on FanDuel with the scoring and everything like that. That's going to go ahead and leave us 9,500 remaining per player. Tyler Lockett and Emmanuel Sanders are probably going to be in almost all my lineups. At least one of them will be in every single lineup I play tonight. I can guarantee you that. I think both of them will be in most of my lineups tonight. But on FanDuel, I don't really have much interest still in Chris Carson tonight. I hope it doesn't bite me because his volume is insane. I just don't think that they're going to get it done on the ground, on the road in San Fran. And like I said, it's a big divisional game. So we will see how that goes. Tevin Coleman, 11K. Matt Breida, 9K. We're averaging 9,500. Take your pick of the two. It's a $2,000 difference, not as drastic as it is over on Draftkings because of the different pricing over here. But if we were to play like Tevin, that's going to allow us to still get Deebo Samuel, who draws a decent matchup. If you want to go super GPP right here and play Josh Gordon, I love that, actually. That's going to leave you 1,000 on the table. You're going to be a little bit different than every other lineup that's playing this core because almost everybody that's doing this is just going to go ahead and click in Deebo Samuel for 8K because they're scared to leave that salary on the table. So if we were to plug in Josh Gordon right here, I would like that quite a bit. We have a little bit of the run game for San Fran and Tevin Coleman, and we also have Emmanuel Sanders, who I love tonight. If we were to go ahead and play Matt Breida over Tevin Coleman, that's going to leave us a little bit more salary on the table. We can go up to get Jason Myers or something like that, and we're still going to leave 500 on the table, which a lot of people are scared to do on these FanDuel games and FanDuel tournaments. So that's my advice for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this video as always. Again, if you have not already, please do leave a like on this video. The support's been absolutely amazing lately. I wish everybody good luck tonight on this Monday Night Football Showdown game, and I will see you guys Wednesday morning at the latest with an NBA video, an NBA breakdown for that Wednesday night slate. So I'll see y'all then.